So about a month ago, we did a video. We haven't posted it yet. And the more I watched the video, the more I realized that you probably might need a little bit of information to understand the impact of that video for me personally. And how does it relate to anything outside of our world and out there to TV land? So I'm sitting in the woodshed on the property that I grew up on, and this is where we stored all of our wood because we heated strictly with wood. There was no other heat source in the house. My father was a fanatical chainsaw, wood cutting, wood splitting by hand man. That was his thing, man. He got into cutting wood, and I grew up cutting wood, and I can promise you I probably hated it. But he did. That was his thing. I think that was his way of, I don't know, man, going to the beach. I don't know, but, that's his thing. And so he had a system for everything. Everything had a system. We didn't burn the same wood. It'd take 2 years. 2 years of drying wood. Green wood we'd cut, and it'd take 2 years before it hit the stove in the house. And we rotated it through here, and it was an elaborate system. His first round of cancer, I think we all kind of thought that, he had kind of whooped it and they're doing good, but it had gotten down in his sacrum, back in his back, where the thing kind of hooks together. And he had a lot of pain with it. And I came back here as much as I could, and I'd help him cut wood. And we'd cut wood, put it in a big pile, and then after we had it in a big pile, then we'd load it onto maybe a month later, we'd load it onto a wagon and then bring it up here, a tractor wagon, and put it in the woodshed. Well, Dad, wore a back brace after that first round of cancer, and, he had, like I said, a lot of pain. And we were down there in the woods one day, and he's on his hands and knees handing me wood. And it's painful. It's painful to watch the life leave somebody, whether it's instantly or prolonged. It's a painful process for them, painful process for us. I'm trying to do everything I can to help him, and he's down on his hands and knees, and he reaches up, hands me this stick of wood. He says, "That's it." I said, what do you mean that's it? He said, "That's it." And he crawled up on his feet. He said, "I'm done. I can't do this no more." Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow. I was like, holy crap. Didn't see that coming that day. And so he handed me that stick of wood. I set it on the pile. I went back later that night and I got that stick of wood. And I took it back to where I was living at the time and got me a board from another farm. And it was a rough cut pine board. And I took it, stuck it to that board, and took my Dremel, my hand and like his hand on it. And I'm no artist, clearly not an artist at all, but put a couple coats of varnish on it, and I gave it to him. So that's supposed to be his hand because it's bigger, but probably at the time our hands were the same, and that's supposed to be my hand right there. And it hangs up in the house here, and pretty much it. I don't know if most folks know exactly what it's all about. So I hold on to a stick of wood like that. Well, for me, I think it was impactful that he had the courage to say, "I'm done, that's it." It reminds me, when I look at it, that sometimes we got to pull the pin, no matter how hard-headed we are, and how tough we are. He was a tough, hard-headed man, but he was done. He couldn't do it no more. Doesn't mean you're weak, just means you're realistic. for every tree that we cut on the farm, Dad always said we had to plant 2 extra trees. And so I figured out now, after living the life that I've lived, that my love of trees, my love of climbing trees, my love of being in trees, clearly probably came from that man. He had a huge respect for trees. I mean, almost like, you know, they were like a person. It was just kind of weird like that. When you see the video that's coming after this one, you'll see that we had this gigantic pine tree on our property get struck by lightning. And it was right above our chicken house. And so we were kind of left with a choice. We had to take it down. Since I rock climb, I was like, well, I'll just buy the spikes and the gear, blah, blah, blah. So I did call in a lady, and she's an arborist. Don't ask me to spell that. And she's up in Canada, and that's what she does for a living. And she helped me get the right gear, gave me some pointers, and we got the family out there and we let it rip. And we brought that big old girl down. The whole time I was up in that tree, it was like a chipmunk sitting on my back, but it was my dad, you know, and he's just talking in one ear and talking in the other ear the whole time. I mean, you got to think about it. You got to have a couple screws loose in your head to get up in a tree with a chainsaw. I mean, I'm telling you. It's one thing to climb on a rock, but you ain't carrying a jackhammer with you, but you up in a tree with a chainsaw. So these people that do that junk for a living, and they got it going on. But how do you go into something when you have had the largest taproot in your life that grounds you to the earth, that formed you into who you are? How do you go on? It doesn't matter if it's a phone call in the middle of the night and it's a complete surprise, or if it's a prolonged process like my father, sick for 13 years. No matter what, it's a kick. I mean, a hard kick. What I try to do, instead of being saddened by moments like these and all the other moments, I smile and embrace it. I respected the tree we had to take down. Just like Dad taught me to respect all the trees that we took down that provided heat for the family, you know? And so, I don't know if the video will make sense. But when your taproot gets ripped out and is gone, and you're standing there trying to figure out what to do, I think you gotta get on your climbing gear and climb. That's what I think. And that's pretty much what I've always done. So I'm not saddened by running a chainsaw. It actually makes me feel good. Didn't like it when I was younger, but now I do. And in the back of my head, when I'm running a chainsaw or looking at a tree or whatever, there's this very friendly chipmunk on my back. May have a couple of angel wings, and kind of whispering in my ear. So I hope you all enjoy the video that's coming. Seriously, if you don't know much about climbing and ropes and knots and all that, I wouldn't suggest you just go buy a bunch of junk and climb up a tree and run a chainsaw. I wouldn't suggest that. But hopefully, for any of you out there that are struggling and you're wondering, what do you do with it? You know, do you take a stick of wood like this and just throw it away? Or do you look at it and go, it takes a man to admit that he can't do something anymore. Hard for a man to admit that when he's on his hands and knees. But who's the bigger man? The man who can admit it, or the man who doesn't admit it? So that's what I got. So who am I today? Man, I am a guy that is sitting in memory alley. That's what I call it, being in this woodshed. I can take you over there and show you all the marks on the beam there from all the loads brought in. Each load got a hash out of hash in the years, 1989, 1990, 19, whatever, man. I mean, memory alley, you know, and not in a bad way, you know. I mean, yeah, I wish he was here, but he's not. So what do I got to do? I got to climb that tree. So with that being said, that's who I am today. A guy that's fixing to go climb a tree. Y'all have a great day. Hope you enjoy the back end of this video. It's going to be long, but it's some crazy junk. And we were getting her done, and guess what? We were getting busy living. Have a great day.
Nice. First one.
Hold up. All right. Get busy living. Slow up a second, all right? Give me some slack. So when you're doing tree work, you run a little long in the day, break out the Go Light. I've been Go Lighted. So we do videos all the time from tops of trees, not normally with sunglasses on and a helmet. So what are we doing today? We are trimming a dead tree down, limb by limb. Got the boys out here helping me, and a lot of ropes, a lot of gear. It's kind of like rock climbing. I ain't gonna lie, it's a little spooky. But we couldn't drop it, or we dropped it on the chicken house. You can't be dropping trees on chicken houses. So we've been working at it for 2 days now. This is day 2. The first day we ran a little late, long in the tooth. It got dark on us. We just cut a limb and lowered it down because it would have fell right on the chicken house. So let me give you a little footage. I would estimate we're probably about 60 feet up. So that's the limb that we just cut off. Lowered it down with a pulley. There's the chicken house. There's my spikes stuck in the side of the tree. We've got to take that limb off. We got to take this limb off and that limb off. And then we're going to tie a rope and actually pull this puppy down. At least that's the plan. So what am I doing today? I'm getting busy living. It's just kind of scary. All right, so we got 3 of the 4 limbs removed. Saved the best for last. It's the one directly over the chicken coop and house. Going pretty smooth. So we're cutting it with a rope and a pulley system. They fall a couple feet. Pretty wild when that limb falls. You know, you kind of feel that rock. But yes, this tree is dead, but it's still got needles on it. I mean, it's still very, very much with the program. It's not rotten or nothing. I'm not that stupid, but I am kind of stupid. So anyway, I got to get back to work, give you a little footage here real quick, and progress. So Zebby ties off to a tree so it doesn't land on the coop down there. And I am attached, actually two safety systems. Clearly I've learned a few things in a few years, but yeah, we're up here, man. Beautiful, beautiful view. Absolutely beautiful view. Might have to get in the pool later. But anyway, hang on. So I ain't gonna lie, when that one went, hanging on up here, god dang. I climbed a tree one time when Hurricane Michael came through to keep it from falling on the house and strapped a big cable to it. 100-mile-an-hour winds, that's what it kind of felt like. Anyway, let me show you. It landed good. We lowered it with a rope. We're good to go. Hang on. That's that big old limb right there. Zebby dropped it perfect. All right, so now comes the hard part. The top. We got to cut the top and drop it. Where I watched the YouTube video on how to do this, I'm a pro. Where I watched the YouTube video on how to do this, I'm a pro. Where I watched the YouTube video on how to do this, I'm a pro. All right, so as you can see, we gradually took limbs off, and way up there at the top, we've actually cut the tree already, and we have a strap attached where we will pull it, and hopefully it'll break and land in a place that doesn't hurt anything. Hopefully. Yeah. Woo! Glad I didn't stay up on that sucker. Couldn't have worked out any better. So I was officially trained at the John Mark School of Tree Climbing, also known as John Mark What's Happening Now Tree Climbing School, with all the current safety regulations, skill set, proper PPE, helmet, glasses, earplugs as soon as I put them in. So if there's any doubts out there, John Mark School of What's Happening Now Tree Climbing, nothing like it. All right, so we're back up in the tree. As you can see from the video, the top did come down. Few minor unexpected issues, but it all worked out. So anyway, we're back up here. I'm going to spin you around, kind of show you the plan now. So we're attaching a strap here. Same principle. We're going to notch the tree now and then drop the tree. Hopefully miss the two batting cage poles. Chicken house is in the clear now, so that was like the main concern for us. It's good to get back down on the ground, kind of refresh, hydrate, give my feet a break, and nothing bad about taking a little rehab. Sorry for the sunglasses, but I got to protect the eyes. I got the big chainsaw hanging off here, so I'll show you. Got to put some earplugs in, and anyway, here we go. Looks like it's snowing out here, but it's actually our fire. All right, so you can see that's where the tree top dropped. We're back up here, you know, basically up in the tree. I'm tied in. Got 2 points tied in with this guy, tied in with this guy. We got Wyatt back from batting practice, so he's throwing some limbs in. And so there's the chicken house, safe and secure. And what I'm gonna do is attach this rope to this strap, and then I'm gonna come down the tree a little bit with the big chainsaw, which is hanging off of me. And then I'm going to notch this tree to where when we give it a little tug with the Tacoma, it'll just naturally, hopefully fall right where the top went, if we're lucky. If not, well, we'll have to replace a pole. Not a big deal. So hang on. And what am I doing today? Getting busy living. That's how the pros do it.
Stick your hand in between.
Hit it.
Ready?
Yeah. Come on, baby. Go. One more time. Oh, God. Damn. Ow.